Today's a very bad day, and I have to talk to my computer because I don't have anybody left in my life to talk to, and that is no joke. Never in a million years would I thought I would be here today, based on my upbringing and the choices I tried to make, and the directions I was trying to go, and the visions I was chasing. I always had so much faith in all those things and never questioned, the immediate circumstances of the sacrifices I had to make, or relationships I had to let go of, or jobs, or living situations, because I knew it in my heart that clearly, I felt that way so deeply. But then there's this spiritual, or this whole mental side of me that has developed so much that it's overtaken the reality that I live in. And obviously I don't know the cause of it. It could be weed. It could be all the situations I've gone through in life to cope with those things. God. Every day when I woke up today, this is what I'd be dealing with. My two favorite people today are my dad and my godfather, the two most important people in my life right now. The two people I love more than anything in the world right now. I'm still alive because of these two people, only these two people. And that's why before I turned on the computer, I was sitting there envisioning my wrist cut, bleeding to death on the ground, and it actually made me feel better. It made me feel better. To think it could be all over that easily. I just have to go through just a little bit, of bad stuff, and then it would finally die. And thinking and wondering if I could do it, if I could just get through it this time. I've thought about taking my life so many times, just to make it easier on everyone and myself, because I can't do it by myself, and I can't keep asking for help, because then I'm just burdening the people I love the most, and it's driving them away from me, and I can't provide for myself for some reason. I get jobs and then I quit, and I don't mean to. And I know what it looks like, I just know that it looks like I'm out here doing these things on purpose, but I don't like living this way. Why would a person choose to do this to themselves, It's obviously not why I went to college and worked hard and, had these goals and tried to make it out of Hartford City. And, I've been thinking about this for a very, very, very long time. That's why I never doubted it. And now I see that I must be just crazy. It's just to a point where, the office is, messing with me and taking my envelopes, and, which have money in it, which, keep me going, until now I have a job. I went through, my aunt died, and then I go through this time dealing with her death, and it resulted in me leaving the Greek restaurant because I exploded, of course, on Alexa. It just was building up, and then that day, my aunt took her life that day, and I worked anyways. Nobody was sensitive or understanding, and all they were very mean. And coming into the bathroom, about to go twice, and I'm in the bathroom. Why? And then come out, and she's telling me to watch coming to work with an attitude, when I had no attitude. It was just being quiet that day. They knew about the death, yet Why would you treat somebody like that? Oh my God. It's just all building up today. It's just exploding today. I have to talk to my computer because no one in my life can hear this. And it makes me hate the whole world, and I just want to leave, so bad. It's been like this for so long now. It's becoming difficult to remember, like, good times and, like, a good life, And then you lose the sense of it, you just lose the reason. Because if not for people, then, if I was so self-centered, then it would just make me happy being alone, and it doesn't. I'm alone because I can't find people that are willing to accept me as I am, and so I have to be alone. I can't be somebody I'm not for other people. I am self-centered in that, right? Because I just am who I am and how I am and how I want to choose to live my life. I don't understand why that has any bearing on whether somebody helps somebody out in a time of need or not. And maybe Jack is right, I'm blind. It's tough love and I can't see it, but I just can't imagine ever allowing my children or somebody that I love or even my worst enemy go through this. How do I know that? Because when I get the very little shekels of money that I do get, never is it extra, yet I still give it out to the people in this community in the ways that I can, in the ways that are called of me. When someone asks, I would never deny them what I have. If I have it, then they're going to get it. I'm going to give it to them, even if it comes at my own sacrifice. I'm not going to hate that. I'm going to want to, because I can't help it. And because I love these people, and because I know that my Lord provides, and that maybe I shouldn't even have a bank account. Like, I should just give as I get, Because everybody's got all these reserves and has hoarded up all the money. People are hoarders, because just in case, it's no excuse. It's no excuse. There's no faith in that. The larger the bank account, the littler the faith. And when you're someone who needs money and they're constantly looking for it, and you're around other people who have money, you're not going to be there very long. Because people won't, on Survivor, the people who won the little challenge got to eat pizza, right? But they had to do it right in front of the other people, the other team that doesn't get to eat it, and that's very cruel, right? But it's a game show, and it's very temporary. We do that in life all the time. That's why we separate ourselves and hang out with other people who have money, and then other people who don't have money all hang out with each other, when it should be the other way around. The people who have should be hanging out with the people who don't have, to share it with them. Because it's not right, to flaunt it right in front of your face. So instead, you just want to keep it to yourselves, and so you can stay around other people who think like you and justify it like you, and there is no excuse. I don't do it. I give in proportion to what I have, and then some. I just share and lead and share of myself, and I accept people unconditionally, and I'm not campaigning to be a perfect person here. I've obviously made many mistakes. But when you test the love of your relationships, not meaning to, you just become in need as a single woman who's 28. My dad told me today, grow up, you're 28 years old, you're not 16 anymore. I don't know what that means. I'm doing the best I can today. I don't know what Dad's childhood was like, but I do know he made many, many, many mistakes, and he says that all the time. I don't even know what the mistakes are. I'm talking about leaving jobs, I guess, is obviously a bad thing, but I've had a job since I was 15. I've been leaving them recently because things happen. I don't mean to do these things. It feels better to talk to even a computer, because at least I'm just getting it out, and I don't want to freaking slit my wrist or break into a garage, and it's not funny, actually, at all. It's just when I want to cry and I can't cry anymore, it's like you start laughing. It becomes funny. And then you want to cry again because it's not funny at all. You know, it's awful. And what's scarier is that everybody I'm around, you know, I just thought, no, like, I'm not going to get out of this, and I want to help them, you know. That's why I wanted Hours Media to be born, because I just saw it providing and creating jobs. But then I realized when the news, when people are dying of the H1N1 and all these different things are on the news every day, news creates news, so they have news, you know, just like cops need us to be criminals to have a job, and doctors need us to be sick to make money. And I just am scared because I know the greed at the heart of man and what they'll do to sacrifice other people's lives so that they can live. And I also know that God is sovereign and that He can and will do something about it. I just don't know if I'm one of the martyrs or one of the people that die before, you know, He comes, or, you know, that doesn't make it, like in the Israelites, like they just didn't make it to the promised land. And I could very well be one of those people because my emotions are that intense, and these things that I deal with are that unbearable for me. It's like, it would be like trying to pick up a house and carry it. Like, it's just not even possible. You need a lot of people to pick up a house and carry it. And when I have a house that I can't move without picking up, then nobody's going to bear that burden with me. That's the bad thing about knowing, you know, the wretched core of yourself, your own self, because then you know everybody else's, and if they're not even willing to look at it or be aware of it and look at themselves, but always want to outwardly judge everyone around them, and when these people are in positions of power and they have money, they think that validates that they're right and that God is rewarding them for that, and that they have control over those things. And you know, it's easy to look at anyone's life and say, well, you know, you don't have, and I have because I do these things. Well, that's not the measure, you know. It's not the measure at all. Tough love because you need it. No, are you saying you never needed tough love? Because I have a hard time believing you ever touched the surface of what I or anyone like me has gone through. And those people just, you gotta give them the benefit of the doubt, and I do at time and time again. But then when it comes to times where it just really hurts because they're the most important people to you, and it's like, I can't even take your ignorance anymore. It's really, really disgusting. It's really gross, you know. Like, I look at my own self with very much disgust. All I can see are my flaws. Like, believe me, it's all I can see. I work hard to look at the good things in me, even though I know I have many, many good things about me. To me, it's like the bad things about me are so much greater, even though they're small. They're so much greater, like nuclear missiles, that's why I pull myself away, and like, I don't even want to bother with a man, because it's like, you know, believe me, you don't want to be with me. I know myself. You don't. Like, I've already been through enough relationships and hurt enough people. Like, I don't want to get you too close to me because I might infect you, because Jonathan's on medication, probably will never be right, and he spent a very short amount of time with me, but it was enough to do that kind of damage. And he, you know, and it saves me from it breaking my heart when they go, and proving myself right, you know. It's just, in order to live, you have to make a living, and if making a living isn't possible for
countless number of reasons at the time. Does that mean you just deserve to die off? Because I look around and I'm like, that's what happens to these people, and that's why they aren't even screaming or yelling or crying anymore, is because they've already been through that. They already died. They already mourn their own death to their own potential and everything they could have been. And they've just accepted it. And the struggle's now normal for them. They've gained weight and they stopped caring about what they look like and drink and smoke more. And I just look at my grave. I just see this room as my mausoleum. And I see very little hope of getting out of the situation, seeing as I don't have a license for a ticket that I got for going right on red. I didn't pay the ticket, I didn't show up for board, they gave me the maximum sentence. I used to be in sales, so no more sales, no more car, no more driving. So I go back to what I did all through college, which was serving tables, but it's not even enough to pay my bills, and it's, you pick up more work, whatever, and I just have been unwilling to do that, and that's what everybody's point has been, is that, like, you keep starting and then quitting jobs, and it's just a deeper problem, though. It's just there's a deeper problem I'm trying to get through, and I don't know what it is. I don't know how to resolve it. I don't know what's stopping me, or what makes me walk out, or what makes me explode on people, or what makes me think the things that I do, and the study the things I do, and care about the things I do, and totally reject the pattern of the world. I mean, it's just as if the Bible came alive for me in a totally different way than it did 2 billion other people who say that they're Christians and read the same book I do. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what screw is loose to even fix it. Dad's gone, my dad is my favorite person. Of course, the day I get to see my dad is the day that I get a terrible email from Jack. I just had it with him, we just had it. I feel he's very, very greedy and just very, very not understanding or at all empathetic, and just being completely unreasonable, and just not the person I really always thought he was, And the thing is, I've always ignored, just like with Wes, I just kept ignoring that pole, thinking it was the enemy trying to convince me that he wasn't. You never know what the enemy's ploy is. You never know whether he's trying to convince you that that person isn't who he is, that he really is, because he's trying to get you away from a person really good for you, or if that's God trying to warn you and send out bells and whistles. How do you know which the fuck it is? You don't. Sometimes you just don't. You're just in the dark, so I always give the benefit of the doubt instead of the other way around. And I end up getting my ass bitten off because of it, and my life ruined, and a tornado goes through, because it's an easy target. It's easy to wipe me out. I don't have anything or anyone, and it's easy to isolate someone and boom, give them a rope to hang themselves, and that's what Jack has done. I feel like I am this huge burden on him, that I am really not like what he always made me feel like I was to him, and really he was just keeping me that close so I wouldn't destroy his marriage and his kids, because I guess I do have that power, and I would never do that. And because I am in too much need, and I'm too expensive, I guess, because I've needed his financial help, and I've sucked up the time just babble festing like I am right now, because he always says he genuinely cares and wants to be that person, but that's not true. I don't think that's true, and why people say that things that they don't mean, I don't get, because it only perpetuates the problem. And how's a person supposed to know the truth if you don't tell them? People need to be more direct and just say it like it is, because you're not doing anybody any favors, not yourself, and certainly not me, because now I'm devastated. Now I put on my ex. He was my godfather, wore every hat there was for me, and so, provided I'm not going to take my life here, I'm going to go to church. And yes, it's selfish, but I don't think God cares why you get back to church. I think he just wants news here is there is a Lord, a God, and it is not any one of these people. And he is able to do all things, and maybe this is exactly what I need. Just a complete reboot, refresh start with no people in it whatsoever. Just me. And I'm going to go into that church, and even if it is selfish, because I don't need to go to church to worship God, and listen, I can listen to sermons and get lessons on the internet and read my books, but what you need church for is to get other connected with other good people. And because I'm good, even though I got a lot of shit shows going on, I know there are other people that may have a lot of shit shows, and at first you want to judge them. They're probably the best people, and I'm going to find these people. I will search hell or high water for them. And I may end up getting hurt just like this, and you never know a wolf under a sheep's clothing, because you never know how long they're going to keep the sheep's clothing on before they show their wolf, and that they're more wolf than they are sheep. You never really know that either, because we're all part wolf. I have my own demons that come out, that are made of all the hurts, hang-ups, and habits I have, but I don't want to be around people that bring that beast out, because I do a good job at locking them down, And there are some people that just are the wolf, That's what I'm coming to find it out anyway. I'm coming to find out that not everybody's like me either. I always, think that at the end of the day, people are good, reasonable people that will do the right thing. In the obvious case, and given the evidence of the world, is that this is not true at all. So I'm on a mission. Today I'm born again. Today is a new day, because I just died. Envisioning myself like I was before. I had to do this. I had to open my computer and just talk to somebody, because I have no one. Literally, today is the day where the last two people standing, it finally was enough for them too. And I'll tell you why I chose to do this, because I hung up with my father, and because I chose to say certain true feelings I had to Jack based on things that they did. First, that it was obviously my doing, and everyone around me is right, I'm wrong, and all these things could very well be true. It's not even my point anymore, regardless of whose fault all this is, and how much it is breaking my heart. I have two choices here. I can give up completely, and you can do that two ways. You can exit the world, and you can just give up and die a slow death. Either way, you're going to die. So either you choose when that is, or wait for it. Because I'm not even sure. It's not our choice to make. I'm not even convinced on that yet. Or the ultra hard decision is to just keep getting back up, because you never know when you're going to stay up, or if you ever will. Because sometimes I think the success stories, the small group of people that we see, the 1% of the world that actually lives this life that we all chase and think is possible for everyone. I don't know, the Bible sure says there are only 144,000 make it, or something like, some ridiculous, it's a small, tiny eye of the needle, a narrow path, less taken, less traveled. So does that mean the rest of us we're doomed to fail? Or that the Lord knew we were going to choose to fail? I don't get all that. I can't wrap my mind around it. I'm not God. All I can understand is what I have experienced, what I've been taught. And the Bible is the sword, yes, but also, if there were ever an instruction manual to life, that's it for me. the only thing I know, and whatever it says to me, which seems, I guess, to be totally different in application than what other people are getting from it. And I don't think I'm right and they're wrong. I just have my own ideas about it, and I'm not comparing myself to their letter or what it says to them. I'm just saying, right or wrong, whatever it is, this is the way I feel about things. But people just don't like it, and it ends up with living in a hotel and having nobody around me, and because I was unable to kind of conform to the workplace and stuff, then my education is worth really nothing, because I can't, become the robot that goes to work and doesn't have any ideas or, thoughts on their own job and how to do it. Since I went to school to be this, even a CEO of a company isn't a professional in every area of the company. When are you going to entreat and trust and empower your people to use their own mind and their degree, what they've studied and what their ideas are? Self-directed, self-applied, like a unilateral, decentralized partnership so everybody gets to live a good life and not just a few people an extraordinary, above average, extravagant life. And if those people want to live that way, then make it yourself and don't rely on, all these thousands of people that actually do the work that make you that money. It's disgusting. It's actually really, really disgusting. So today is the death of just not placing any kind of faith in people. You just can't. This is just a proof that you can't do it, Even if I do end up getting married someday, I'm just going to keep this in mind. Like, don't ever be surprised at what people are capable of, how far people are capable of slipping, and then, just to keep going and keeping it centered on your God and keeping the perspective of beginning with the end in mind, that this all will end and I will live on, never shedding a tear again in heaven one day, and all I got to do is make it through this life. And it's not easy. It's unbelievably difficult. But it's going to be easier if I don't place so much emphasis on the worth and value of life in other people, because they just disappoint. They just do. It's human nature. We just are wrong, bad, left, hell-bent, misaligned into the ditch people. And so I almost expected at this point. After today, the two people I did not ever think would ever leave me no matter what, I'm capable of pushing away even those two people, and I'm not a bad person, then it just tells me that nobody out there is just wanted to be bad and wanted to go left. It's just things happened and it broke their heart, and they chose the other way, instead of just keeping to get back up and trusting that one day it will prevail and you'll make it and make it through, and whatever that means, for you. They got angry and bitter and started hating, and then, doing either, or just got so poor and, needed to start selling themselves or selling drugs or doing whatever to get by and cope, drink, all these bad things people do. It's just symptoms of a so much deeper problem. It's just they're aware of their situation, they're aware that they're alive but yet dead. So it's just like I'm existing every day, and there's no real purpose, there's nothing really good in it, and the environment just feeds more of it because it's feeding the beast in us instead of the good, and we just start forgetting what a good life is, and then you give what it is like down here all the time. And then I get around people like Jack, and I go to his family's lake house for the weekend, and I'm exposed to what I remember, and it just recalls that, yeah, there is a good life out there. There's a much better life, and I've gotten to live it. So, you know, what accounts for me not being able to live like this anymore? Not necessarily like that, but just at all like survival, you know. And then I come back to this reality, and it's so difficult to just swallow it again, you know. It's like eating good food and then going back to eating like bad food, you know. Life can always get worse, but it can always get better too, you know. I want to like try and be content, and I'm very content as far as like keeping a good attitude, and I mean that's kind of a lie because I don't always keep a good attitude about it, but I just really try. And to know that when you're really, really trying and it's not good enough and you still fall short, it's like, okay, this is the part, God, where it's like supposed to be you and not me, right? Isn't it when I can't, you can? Aren't my weaknesses made strong through you? Don't you carry the burdens with me? Aren't you supposed to save me now? And then when you've been thinking that for so long and he just never comes, you start to lose faith, and you know you shouldn't. You know, 40 years from now I should still have the same zest and zeal for life. Well, maybe it's today God comes, and that's the ideal, but it's just not real. It's just not what really happens, because in your gut, you know, you still doubt, and everything around you makes you doubt. And then we're so far removed from biblical days and people who probably really had faith in it in the ways that were righteous and holy and applied the way, you know, those groups of people have dissipated, or they're very small and I'm not connected to them, or, you know, I see are Pharisees in the churches, and the book taken in a way that I didn't ever take it. So it's very discouraging. It's a very discouraging time, obviously. And I'm very piggish today. I'm very ugly today. I just drove my dad and my godfather away, and I didn't mean to. My two favorite people. It hasn't even like hit me yet. Like when my aunt took her own life, I don't know if it still has hit me, really. It's been a month and I don't still fully wrap my head around it. I think about it a lot, but I don't know what to make of it. Everything is just making my head spin anymore and making me more confused. Some days I feel like I'm back on track, and other days I feel like I'm just more lost than I ever have been. I'm just pulled in two different directions. My flesh and spirit war. Like I'm fully devil and fully God and angel at the same time, or something sparring within my own boundaries of my body. And they're just ripping me in two. And I feel like at any given moment I'm just going to explode. It's 11 o'clock. I get to go deal with the office now.